What if the person you are missing right now is not lost, just delayed? What if the silence is not a sign to give up, but a sign to trust deeper? Some of you are overthinking tonight. You are replaying memories. You are checking your phone. You are wondering if distance means it is over. But what if the distance is not breaking the story? What if it is building it? We panic when things slow down. We assume that if something is written for us, it should be easy, constant, and immediate. We think destiny means no obstacles, but Allah does not write love the way we imagine it. Sometimes He separates two hearts to clean them. Sometimes He delays the meeting to mature them. Sometimes He allows silence so sincerity can grow. And if two hearts are truly written, no amount of distance can erase what Allah has already decided. The real question is not, will they come back? The real question is, do you trust the one who writes destinies? Because when Allah aligns two written hearts, it does not happen by accident. It happens with wisdom, with timing, with protection, with purpose. And by the end of this reminder, you may stop fearing the distance and start understanding it. The distance. You fear may be the preparation you cannot see. What if the space between you and them is not loss, but construction? What if Allah is building something in silence that you are trying to rush in emotion? When someone becomes distant, your heart immediately feels pain. You start thinking, maybe this is over. You replay conversations. You question yourself. You fear that if it was truly meant, it would never feel this hard. But think deeper. When a building is being repaired, sometimes it is closed. When gold is being purified, it is placed in fire. When a seed is growing, it is buried under soil where no one can see it. Just because you cannot see progress does not mean nothing is happening. Distance feels like abandonment to the heart, but to Allah it can be refinement. He separates to clean intentions. He allows space so emotions can calm down. He creates pause so both hearts can grow up. Maybe one of you still needed to become more patient. Maybe one of you needed to become more responsible. Maybe both of you needed to learn how to rely on Allah instead of relying only on each other. If two hearts are written, Allah will not let them come together in a weak state. He prepares them first. Sometimes distance teaches you what presence never could. It shows you whether your love was based on need or sincerity. It shows you whether you were attached to the person or attached to the idea of not being alone. And during this space, Allah is working on things you cannot control: family situations, financial stability, emotional maturity, even timing that protects your future. You see separation. Allah sees preparation. You feel delay. Allah sees development. If two hearts are truly written, distance is not the end of the story. It is the strengthening of it. So instead of asking, why are we apart? Ask, what is Allah teaching me right now? Because sometimes the gap between you and them is not meant to break you. It is meant to build you, so that when you finally stand together, you are both ready for what you once prayed for. Allah fixes the heart before He fixes the situation. You are worried about the situation. Allah is working on the heart. You look at the outside problems, the distance, the family issues, the money, the timing, the misunderstandings. You think, if only this situation changes, everything will be fine. But Allah knows something deeper. Even if He fixed the situation right now, would your heart be ready to handle it? Before Allah brings two written hearts together, He prepares what is inside them, because a relationship does not survive on feelings alone. It survives on patience, humility, emotional control, and fear of Allah. If pride is still strong, it will destroy love. If ego is still loud, it will ruin communication. If old wounds are still open, they will bleed into the future. So, Allah works quietly on the heart first. He teaches you Sabr through waiting. He teaches you Tawakkul through uncertainty. He teaches you emotional strength through silence. You may not even notice it, but you are changing. You become less reactive. You speak more carefully. You start thinking before you act. You begin making dua instead of making drama. This is not random. This is preparation. Because if two hearts are written, Allah does not want them to meet in immaturity. He wants them to meet in stability. Imagine if you both came together while still insecure, still jealous, still impatient. Small problems would feel big. Small mistakes would feel like betrayal. The bond would crack under pressure. So Allah fixes the inner world first. He softens your anger. He reduces your fear. He builds your self-respect. He strengthens your connection with Him. And when the heart is stable, the situation becomes easier to handle. Many people pray, Ya Allah, fix this relationship. But maybe the better prayer is, Ya Allah, fix my heart first. Because when the heart is right, the relationship becomes healthier. And when the heart is connected to Allah, you stop depending completely on another human to complete you. If it is written, Allah will not just align the meeting, He will align the maturity required to protect it. And that inner change, the calm, the growth, the emotional balance, is the real miracle happening before you even realize it. Allah fixes the heart before He fixes the situation, because a strong heart can survive any situation. What is written will survive the storm. Every connection faces a storm. There will be misunderstandings. There will be silence. There will be moments when emotions are high and words are not chosen carefully. There may even be distance that feels heavy and confusing. And in those moments, your heart starts to panic. You think, maybe this is the end. You think, if it was truly meant, it wouldn't be this hard. You think, maybe Allah is removing this from my life. But here is something powerful to understand. Ease is not always the sign that something is written, and difficulty is not always the sign that something is not. Even the strongest bonds are tested. If something small can permanently destroy it, it was never strong enough to begin with. But if it is truly written by Allah, it may bend, yet it will not break. Storms reveal strength. A weak connection collapses under pressure. A written connection grows deeper through it. When two hearts are truly decreed for one another, Allah protects the thread between them. Even if it stretches, even if it feels thin, even if it feels like it might snap. There may be confusion, but clarity returns. There may be silence, but communication opens again. There may be doubt, but certainty slowly settles back into the heart. Because what Allah writes cannot be erased by temporary emotion. Think about this. Sometimes the storm is not sent to destroy the connection. It is sent to clean it. Misunderstandings expose weaknesses in communication. Conflict reveals hidden insecurities. Distance shows how much sincerity truly exists. And through that process, both hearts either grow or fall apart. If they grow, it means Allah is strengthening what He wrote. You must also remember, Shaitan works hardest where there is potential for something pure. He whispers doubt. He increases fear. He magnifies small problems. Why? Because he wants you to destroy with your own hands what Allah may have written for your peace. That is why patience during storms is powerful. Instead of reacting quickly, pause. Instead of assuming the worst, seek clarity. Instead of letting pride win, choose humility. Because sometimes the test is not about the relationship. It is about your character inside the relationship. If it is written, the storm will not erase it. It will refine it. And when the storm passes, you will not just have the same connection, you will have a stronger one. So when the wind feels strong and the sky looks dark, do not decide the ending too quickly. What is written will survive the storm. And if it does not survive, then trust that Allah saved you from something that only looked strong, but was never truly secure. You cannot force what Allah has scheduled. One of the biggest mistakes we make is trying to control what Allah has already planned. When you care about someone deeply, fear starts to grow. You become afraid of losing them, afraid of silence, afraid of distance, and that fear makes you react. You send extra messages. You over-explain. You overthink. You try to secure something that feels unstable. But here is a powerful truth. If Allah has written something for you, it does not need your panic to survive. You cannot force a flower to bloom before its season. You cannot make the sun rise earlier by staring at the sky. In the same way, you cannot rush what Allah has already scheduled perfectly. When something is truly written, it arrives with dignity. It does not need begging. It does not need emotional pressure. It does not need you to lose your self-respect to keep it. If you feel like you are constantly forcing conversations, forcing clarity, or forcing commitment, pause and reflect. What is meant for you will not require you to exhaust your soul to hold it together. This does not mean you do nothing. Effort is important. Communication is important. Responsibility is important. But there is a difference between healthy effort and desperate control. Healthy effort is calm. Desperate control is anxious. Healthy effort trusts Allah. Desperate control fears losing what Allah has already decided. Sometimes we rush because we are scared that if we do not push now, we will miss our chance. But what Allah has written for you cannot miss you, even if there is distance, even if there is delay, even if there are obstacles. If it is yours, it will reach you at the exact moment it is meant to. And if it is not yours, no amount of pressure will make it stay peacefully. Forcing something too early can even damage it. You might push a person away. You might create tension that did not need to exist. You might turn something beautiful into something heavy. That is why trust is powerful. Say, Ya Allah, if this is written for me, bring it in the right way. If it is not, remove it gently from my heart. When you surrender control to Allah, something changes inside you. You stop chasing. You stop panicking. You stop trying to control every outcome. And you begin to walk with calm confidence. Because the one who controls destiny is not careless. You cannot force what Allah has scheduled, but you can trust it. And when you truly trust it, your heart becomes lighter, knowing that what is written will come, and what is not written will never stay. Separation exposes the sincerity of your heart. When someone is close to you, it is easy to feel certain about your emotions. But when distance happens, everything becomes clear. Separation has a strange power. It removes comfort. It removes daily communication. It removes the constant reassurance, and in that silence, your true intentions are exposed. You begin to see what was really in your heart. Was it love for the sake of Allah? Or was it fear of being alone? Was it sincerity? Or was it attachment to attention and validation? When two hearts are written, separation does not destroy sincerity, it strengthens it. Instead of chasing the person, you turn to Allah. Instead of obsessing over messages, you raise your hands in dua. Instead of trying to control the outcome, you say, Ya Allah, if this is good for me, return it in a way that pleases you. That shift is powerful, because real love does not pull you away from Allah. It pushes you closer to Him. If separation makes you bitter, angry, and reckless, then something inside needs healing. But if separation makes you reflect, improve yourself, pray more, and grow stronger, that is a sign of maturity. Sometimes Allah separates two people, not to end the story, but to purify it. During that space, He watches how you respond. Do you complain about His decree? Do you question His wisdom? Or do you trust Him even when your heart feels heavy? Separation also shows whether the connection was built on strong foundations. If it was only based on constant attention, it will fade quickly. If it was based on sincerity and respect, it will survive the silence. And, most importantly, separation teaches you emotional independence. You learn that your happiness does not depend completely on another human being. You learn that your peace comes from Allah first. That lesson alone makes you stronger for any future, whether it is with that person or someone better. So do not fear separation too quickly. Sometimes the distance is a mirror. It shows you your weaknesses. It shows you your growth areas. It shows you whether your heart was attached to the person or attached to the plan of Allah. If two hearts are truly written, separation will not make them forget each other. It will make them cleaner, calmer, and more sincere. And when sincerity increases, Allah's help becomes closer. Because at the end of the day, written love is not about holding on tightly. It is about trusting Allah enough to let Him decide how the story continues. Allah removes the almost to protect the written. Not every strong feeling is destiny. Not every deep conversation means it is written. Sometimes something feels right, but it is only almost right. And almost can be very dangerous. You may feel attached. You may imagine a future. You may believe this is the one. But slowly, signs begin to appear. Constant anxiety, repeated disrespect, emotional instability, distance from your deen. Yet you ignore it because your heart is invested. This is where Allah's mercy steps in. Sometimes He removes someone from your life not to hurt you, but to protect you. You see heartbreak. Allah sees protection. You see loss. Allah sees redirection. If that person was not written for your peace, Allah will not allow you to build your future on something fragile. He may expose their character. He may create situations that reveal incompatibility. He may close doors you were trying so hard to keep open. And in the moment, it hurts. You ask, why did this happen? You feel confused. You feel disappointed. But later, when clarity comes, you realize something powerful. You were saved. The written one will not constantly disturb your peace. The written one will not make you beg for basic respect. The written one will not pull you away from Allah. The written one will feel stable, not chaotic. Calm, not confusing. Clear, not complicated. That does not mean there will be no effort. Every relationship requires effort. But the effort will feel balanced, not one-sided. Sometimes Allah lets you experience almost, so that your heart learns the difference. You learn what red flags look like. You learn what emotional manipulation feels like. You learn what insecurity inside you needs healing. And once you learn those lessons, you are no longer blind. Then, when the written one comes, you recognize the peace immediately. You no longer chase intensity. You value stability. You no longer confuse attention with love. You value respect and deen. Allah removes the almost to protect the written, because if He did not remove the wrong one, your heart might never be free enough to accept the right one. So, if someone left your life and you did not understand why, trust this: if they were truly written, they would not have been removed permanently. And if they were removed, it means Allah is clearing space. Space for something cleaner. Space for something stronger. Space for something that will not only touch your heart, but protect your peace. Delay is not punishment. It is protection. Waiting feels heavy. When you pray for something sincere, a righteous spouse, a peaceful marriage, a halal connection, and nothing happens quickly, your heart starts to question. Why is it taking so long? Did I do something wrong? Is Allah saying no? But delay is not always rejection. Sometimes delay is protection. Allah sees the full timeline of your life. You only see today. You only feel the present emotion. You only understand what you want right now. But Allah knows what will happen 1 year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Maybe, if you met earlier, you both would have been immature. Maybe, if you married sooner, financial stress would have broken the bond. Maybe, if it happened fast, you would not value it deeply. Delay builds strength. While you are waiting, you are growing. You are becoming more patient. You are becoming more emotionally stable. You are learning how to trust Allah instead of forcing outcomes. And maybe the other person is growing too. Maybe Allah is teaching them responsibility. Maybe He is fixing their character. Maybe He is preparing their heart to lead or support properly. If two hearts are truly written, Allah will not unite them in a weak season. He will unite them when the foundation is stronger. Think about how a tree grows. It spends years building roots before it becomes tall and visible. The deeper the roots, the stronger it stands during storms. Delay is like those roots. You may not see progress, you may not see movement, but something is being built underneath. We often want blessings quickly, but quick blessings can also break quickly. What comes with patience usually comes with stability. So instead of seeing delay as punishment, see it as preparation. Say, Ya Allah, if this is written for me, prepare me for it. And prepare it for me. Because divine timing is not slow, it is precise. When Allah finally opens the door, you will realize that if it had opened earlier, you would not have been ready. And you will understand that the delay was never meant to hurt you. It was meant to protect your future. When Allah aligns it, peace is the sign. Many people look for signs in dramatic moments. They look for intense emotions. They look for constant excitement. They look for strong attachment. But the real sign of something written by Allah is not chaos. It is peace. When Allah aligns two hearts that are truly written, the connection feels steady. It does not feel like you are constantly afraid of losing it. It does not feel like you are fighting every day just to keep it alive. There is effort, yes. There is responsibility, yes. There are small disagreements, yes. But underneath all of that, there is calm. You do not feel like you are walking on eggshells. You do not feel like you must change your personality to be accepted. You do not feel constant anxiety about where you stand. Instead, you feel secure. Secure not because you control the future, but because you trust the one who controls it. When Allah aligns something, doors open smoothly. Conversations become easier. Obstacles that once looked impossible slowly move aside. It does not mean life becomes perfect. It means your heart becomes settled. You sleep without overthinking every word. You speak without fear of being misunderstood. You plan without constant doubt. And most importantly, your connection does not pull you away from Allah. It brings you closer. You pray together. You remind each other of good. You feel encouraged in your deen, not distracted from it. That is the difference between attachment and alignment. Attachment is loud and unstable. Alignment is quiet and strong. When Allah aligns two written hearts, you do not feel desperate to hold on tightly. You feel safe enough to trust. And if you ever find yourself in something that constantly steals your peace, constantly confuses you, constantly drains you, step back. Because what Allah writes for you will not require you to sacrifice your peace to keep it. The greatest sign is tranquility. Not butterflies, not drama, not intensity. Peace. And when that peace settles in your heart, you will know this was not forced, not chased, not manipulated. It was aligned by Allah. Before you close this reminder, pause for a moment. Think about the person you are worried about. Think about the distance, the silence, the delay, the confusion. Now ask yourself honestly, have you trusted Allah with this story, or have you been trying to write it yourself? Because when two hearts are truly written, no amount of distance can erase them. And when they are not written, no amount of effort can force them to stay with peace. Your job is not to control destiny. Your job is to purify your heart, strengthen your character, and place your trust in the one who controls all hearts. If it is meant for you, Allah will bring it back in a way that is clean, halal, and filled with barakah. It will not destroy your peace. It will not distance you from your deen. It will not require you to lose yourself to keep it. And if it is not meant for you, then believe with full certainty that Allah is saving you from a future you would not have survived. Sometimes love is delayed to protect you. Sometimes it is removed to elevate you. And sometimes it returns when both hearts are finally ready. So instead of holding on with fear, hold on to Allah with trust. Say, Ya Allah, if this is written for me, bring it closer in the best way. And if it is not, I'll replace it with something better for my dunya and my akhirah. Because the one who writes destinies does not make mistakes. And when he aligns two written hearts, everything, even the past pain, will suddenly make sense.